You are probably aware, yesterday we spent some time traveling. We took our little magical bus tour throughout the Archdiocese to look at different churches. We had about 30 people from our parish, and we were again just looking at different churches that have restored themselves, parishes that have restored the interiors of their church and pretty recently. And it was a great opportunity to do that, and it's kind of fun to be in the dream stage that we're in, because the dream stage is free, and we don't have to worry about price tags at the moment. And so, but anyways, we got a lot of great ideas as we looked at these parishes and had some fun as well. One of the things that each parish that we visited had somebody there to kind of help us answer any questions and just kind of talk about how the restoration of their church went, and to share any suggestions and that kind of thing. And one of the things that you don't really think about when you're thinking about restoring a church is that it gets worse before it gets better. We saw pictures of churches, where the floors had been torn up, and the ceiling is, everything's coming down, and it's dusty, and stuff's been ripped out, and all those things. And it's kind of like, oh, you kind of forget about that. But any of you that have restored a home or a bathroom or anything in your house, kitchen, you know that it gets dirtier, it gets messier, it gets worse before it finally starts to look good again. And the reason I bring that up is because I was thinking about this weekend's reading, and one of my favorite lines in the Bible is from our second reading today, which is where Christ says, "Behold, I make all things new. Behold, I make all things new." That is, we hear that sometimes, and we think, it's very sweet and very sugary, that's nice, it's spring, Christ makes things new. And we hear in the gospel, love one another, yes, absolutely. But what we fail to sometimes take into account is that in order for Christ to make things new, there is oftentimes pain that's involved with Him coming into our lives and making us new. When you don't just paint over dirt, you don't just leave things that have accumulated over the years on the walls if you're going to restore a church or anything else like that. You have to clean first. And yet, sometimes when Christ says, "I make all things new," we have to also recognize that part of that renewal process is Christ also removing from us imperfections and things that get in the way of us becoming new. Some of the things that we hang on to, that we want to cling to real tightly, whether it be our anger, whether it be sin, whether it be an addiction that we have, whatever it might be, our love for gossip, whatever those things are that we cling to, Christ, as part of our restoration of ourselves, as part of Him making us new, also has to come in and knock away and tear away those things. And there's pain involved in that for us. We experience, anytime we have to let go of something that we cling to tightly, there's sadness in that. There's a mourning. We don't want to do that. And so that is the reason that, although Christ announces Himself as the one who restores all things, not just churches, restores people, restores communities, restores societies, restores and makes new the world. Christ says that's what He does. But we also have to realize that it's possible for us to tell Christ, "No, thank you. I would rather you not come in here. I would rather you not enter into my heart. I would rather you not make me new. I like how I am right now. Even if I'm quite miserable, at least I don't have to change." And so people and communities and so on and so forth lock the door sometimes and tell Christ, who's knocking, We don't want you here. I don't want you in my life because I know that you bring pain as part of your renewal process. And so we ask and pray for the strength to welcome Christ, to allow him to come in and restore us as individuals, as a parish, as a community, as a country, as a society. We pray that we have the strength and the courage. It takes courage to trust and to let him come in and restore us. And so we pray for that. We pray for the courage to do that. First and foremost, that starts with the reception of Holy Communion. We receive Christ into us in a physical way, as our three young people will be doing for the first time today, and as we all will be doing for the millionth time. Christ enters into us. The question is, will we allow him to work on us and to restore us and make us new, or will we shut him out? We pray for our young people receiving their first communion and for us as well, that this reception of communion may be an invitation to Christ to say, Lord, enter into my heart and make me new, as you have said that you so desperately want to do in my life.